What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated two-division world champion, superstar boxer, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. 31 wins, no losses, no draw. 19 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach, okay? A southpaw, slick boxer, power. Total package, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is. He is the absolute total package when it comes to, the squared circle, right? Demetrius Andrade, he has it all, okay? He has the ability to, box on the outside, box on the inside. Completely, he's the total package, right? He has it all. He has power, right? Combination punches, foot speed, athletic ability. Complete total package, Demetrius Andrade is. Demetrius Andrade is just void of the big opponents, the big name opponents for himself, okay? That's the problem that Demetrius Andrade has had. Now, many people look at the business part of the sport of boxing for Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, and it's some bad business decisions according to the powers that be. He was scheduled to face off against now 3-time junior middleweight world champion, who is the undisputed junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer, Jermell Lions Only Charlo. And according to reports, he pulled out the fight a week, ahead of the fight, 10 days out before the fight. And he cited that he wanted more money. But according to his father, trainer, and manager, Paul Andrade, he stated that that wasn't true. They hadn't signed and agreed to anything. Okay. Then Demetrius Andrade, he became a free agent. And Demetrius Andrade, he signed with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn and DAZN. Okay. And he still wasn't able to secure the big fights. Now, he did have one big fight already scheduled, and it fell through with former world champion, two-division world champions, British superstar boxer Billy Joe Saunders. But Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for a banned substance that saw him removed from the fight. So he didn't get to fight Billy Joe Saunders, okay? Then he was just unable to secure a fight with Jermell Charlo, who is the undefeated two-division world champion and reigning WBC middleweight world champion. As Jermell Charlo has stated, because of the business that Demetrius Andrade did with his brother, identical twin brother, Jermell Charlo, and pulling out the fight, he would never fight Demetrius Andrade, okay? So he couldn't secure that fight. Then he could never secure a fight with 2-time unified middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Gennady Triple G Golovkin. He was unable to do that, and we all know he was unable to secure a fight with 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion. Never able to secure that fight. Now Demetrius Andrade, he called out former world champion British superstar boxer Chris Eubank Jr., and that didn't work out. Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting Conor Benn. Then Demetrius Andrade, he was scheduled to fight Zack Parker, okay? The first purse bid, it went to a first purse bid, which would have seen Demetrius Andrade, the purse bid went for $1.8 million. Queensberry Promotions promoter, Frank Warren, legendary British promoter, he won the purse bid, which would have seen Demetrius Andrade, who was the bigger star, make a bigger purse. And he suffered a shoulder injury, scheduled to make over $1 million, but he suffered a shoulder injury that saw him pull from the fight, okay? So he wasn't able to, fight against Zack Parker. Then he said he was dropping back down to 160. That was Zack Parker. The first fight was scheduled to take place, his first fight, at 168. He injured his shoulder. Then he stated that he was going to drop back down to 160, right? So he was scheduled to make his debut against Zack Parker at 168. And then he, stated that after the injury, he was moving back down in weight, okay? That's when he called out Chris Eubank Jr. who is a 60 pounder, right? And that didn't plan out. Chris Eubank Jr. is going to fight his rival, his family rival, in Conor Ben. So Demetrius Andrade decides that he's going to come back now and he's going to fight Zack Parker again. They're going to schedule again. Zack Parker, 22 wins, no loss, no draw, 16 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach, okay? So he's out the UK, Orthodox fighter. It was scheduled to take place again. This time, Frank Warren and the purse bid is a whopping $300,000. $300,000 for Demetrius Andrade fight? A purse bid for Demetrius Andrade at $300,000? And so with that said, Demetrius Andrade, he decides to walk away from it, which makes Demetrius Andrade look bad, right? And this is why Canelo Alvarez was laughing at Demetrius Andrade, because of the business part of the sport with Demetrius Andrade. There's so many times that it could be everybody else and not you. At some point in time, his luck can't just be this bad. It just can't be, right? It has to, at some point in time, you have to look in the mirror and say, I'm doing something wrong here. Now, his skill set, his talent, it gives people pause for cause, right? But when you also make the business decisions that put you in a position for these fighters to avoid you on top of your skill set. Nobody wants to volunteer to fight Demetrius Andrade. Big, slick southpaw. Nobody wants to volunteer with power. Nobody's going to volunteer to fight Demetrius Andrade. Absolutely not. But on top of that, you're not putting yourself in the best position to be successful. And then you're pulling out of fights. Now, with this fight with Zack Parker, $300,000, he's well in his right to pull out of that fight. No way Demetrius Andrade should want to accept a fight with $300,000. Absolutely not. Okay, that's a slap in the face to Demetrius Andrade. Let's just be honest here. Okay, that's terrible. And so, but on the part of the business for Demetrius Andrade, with his peers in these big fights, these are I told you so's. And what I mean by that is Jamal Charlo. This validates Jamal and Jamel Charlo and Steven Espinosa, who said that they pulled out the fight with Jamel Charlo, right? You pulled out the first fight, the scheduled fight with Zack Parker because of the shoulder injury. Now you pull out a second fight because of the purse bid. And this is gives validation and validity to Canelo Alvarez, saying Demetrius Andrade hasn't done anything. He's just looking for the money. He's looking for a payday. Payday. You want payday? I know that. Right? So he just gives the ammunition. He gives the fuel that they need to avoid him. And it just looks bad, the business part. Again, he injured his shoulder. That's out of his hands. He goes into another person with Frank Warren, $300,000. That's disrespectful. Right? So it just is out of his hands. But the way it looks to his peers and the way they can use it as ammunition and to avoid him, it's just valid. It's just validated. Now Demetrius Andrade, he called out Chris Eubanks Jr. Right? And when he called out Chris Eubanks Jr., he said that Frank Warren and BT Sports, they had $1 million for Chris Eubank Jr. to take the fight. Well, $1 million for Chris Eubank Jr.? $1 million is not enough for Chris Eubanks Jr. to accept the fight with Demetrius Andrade. That's just not enough. That's not going to lure anybody out, $1 million. It's just not. Not the big name fighters for Demetrius Andrade. It's just not. It's just not worth their while. Okay? And then you say, I'm jumping from, okay, I'm not going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. I'm jumping over 60 and I'm going to fight at 68 against Zach Parker, which you should have, once your shoulder healed, you should have initially went right back into negotiation with Zach Parker. So now Demetrius Andrade is saying he got even bigger fight and even bigger name on the horizon. Is it going to be David Benavidez, undefeated two-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer? David Benavidez? We know it's not going to be Canelo Alvarez. We know it's not going to be Gennady Golovkin. Erislandy Lara, he just got ordered to fight Golovkin, so he might take that opportunity. We know it's not going to be Jamal Charlo. I would be highly shocked if it's Jamal Charlo is the big news. Because that's not big news, that's massive news. If you went from Zach Parker to Jamal Charlo, that's massive, right? But I highly doubt that it's Jamal Charlo. It's going to be Billy Joe Saunders, finally. I highly doubt that it's Billy Joe Saunders. The business of the sport of boxing has not been too kind to Demetrius Andrade, and it just comes across as Demetrius Andrade not making the smartest business decisions for his career to put himself in the right position to be able to successfully get the big fights. At this stage in Demetrius Andrade at 34, the most touted fighter coming out his class. He was the creme de la creme of his class. He was the apex of his class. And he never lost. He still never lost. It's just that he still doesn't have the big name and opportunities at 34 years of age. That's amazing. It's disappointing. He hasn't had a big payday in his career yet. I mean, the biggest name on Demetrius Andrade's record right now is David Avanesian. And a fight he faced adversity and was dropped in. That's the biggest name on his resume. David Avanesian. When you look at Demetrius Andrade's resume, right? The biggest name on his resume is David Avanesian. Marcus Morrison, right? I mean, it's just disappointment when you look down the line of Demetrius Andrade's resume and career. So much more was expected from Demetrius Andrade. You understand? Jason Quigley is his last fight. Liam Williams, Luke Keeler, Macy Selecki, right? Akarov. Then you have Walter Condaquanda. That's who he fought in replacement of Billy Joe Saunders. Alantez Fox. Okay, Jack Colquet. Okay, Willie Nelson. Right? Dario Fabian Puchetta. You understand? Brian Rose. Vanis Monterosian. That's the biggest name on his resume. Vanis Monterosian was undefeated. 33 wins, no losses, 1 draw. That was 2013. November of 2013. When he fought Vanis Monterosian. That's a shame. So now he's saying that there's a big announcement on the way, big name on the way. I hope so. Because at this point in Demetrius Andrade's career, it's very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Very, very much so disappointing. And this is why Canelo Alvarez laughs at Demetrius Andrade. And again, Canelo Alvarez, he had help. He had help. But you know what Canelo Alvarez also did? He made better business decisions that was going to benefit his career. He just did. Demetrius Andrade, and this is no slight to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, but Demetrius Andrade simply should have never signed with Matchroom. it was unproven. You know, there was nothing there to indicate that they can get him the big fights that he was looking for in his career. You know, there was no indication of that, right? Outside of promising him the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Now, they did secure the Billy Joe Saunders, but nobody could foresee Billy Joe Saunders testing positive for a banned substance, right? And, you know, that hurt him in his career, period. It just did. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.